Man, we got a fire duel this weekend, Iowa versus Penn State. Let's break it down. How's it going, everybody? My name is Jesse, and welcome to My Wrestling Show, the place where we talk about the greatest sport in the world, Iowa versus Penn State. They're the two best teams, number one versus number two. The environment's going to be crazy. It's going to be wild. I can't wait for it. And this duel, I think, could be closer than people are giving it credit for. And the reason why is bonus points, right? It's so difficult to beat Penn State because bonus points always favor Penn State. You have to win 6 matches to beat Penn State, and that's basically impossible when you have 5-time returning national champs. So in this rare occasion, bonus points favor Iowa due to Spencer Lee. He's pinned the number 3, the number 4, the number 8, and the number 6 guy in his last 4 matches. In this match, Iowa only needs 5 wins to potentially take control of this duel and win. So let's break it down. At 125 pounds, Spencer Lee versus Gary Steen. So of course I'm going to pick Spencer Lee here. I got him pinning Gary Steen in the first period in 72 seconds. At 133 pounds, you have Brody Teske versus RBY. RBY is a 2-time national champ. And so again, of course, I'm going to pick RBY here. The question is, does he get bonus points? Brody Teske's 4-0 on the year, but his best wins over Taylor Lamont. And while Taylor Lamont is a previous All-American, he hasn't wrestled super good this year. I do think RBY gets back to his bonus point tendencies. He's no longer 100% bonus on the year due to that 4-2 win over Dallas Ragusin. I do think he gets bonus points here over Brody Teske for Penn State. If you made it this far in the video, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. It doesn't cost you anything and would help me out a lot. And I've heard that if you subscribe, your favorite team might win their next dual meet. Iowa fans, Penn State fans, that's a little hint there. If you want to win your next dual meet this Friday, hit the subscribe button. 141 pounds. Real Woods versus Bo Bartlett. This is where it starts to get really, really juicy. You got number 2 versus number 5. Now, Real Woods at the beginning of the year, I was a little bit nervous. He didn't get a takedown in his win over Casey Swiderski. It's not a very repeatable path to victory. He's looked much better. He's turning guys with that cross wrist tilt. He's looking great. Bo Bartlett, on the other hand, 14-0 on the year. You can't do any better than not lose even a single match. But his best win is to number 13, Lachlan McNeil of UNC. He still doesn't have that top 10 win, a win over a previous All-American yet. So I'm going to go with Real Woods in this match by decision. I don't think he gets a turn. I do think he gets a ride time point. I could easily see both guys getting a takedown here. But I think the ride time point's going to be the difference for Real Woods. He gets a ride time point, gets the win for the Iowa Hawkeyes. At 149 pounds, we have Max Murin versus Shane Van Ness. And this is another match I'm really excited about. So on one side, you have Shane Van Ness. His best win on the year is only to number 23, Quinn Kenner. But his worst loss is to number 6, Panero Johnson. So where in that gap is he? Is he closer to number 22? Or is he closer to number 6? Based on his eye test, based on the way he lost those matches to Panero Johnson and Austin Gomez, you would think he's closer to number 7. But you have to prove it on the mat. That's the great thing about the sport of wrestling is you have to prove it on the mat. He's going to get a chance to do that against number 7, Max Murin. Max Murin, he has a better win over Doug Zaft, number 12, Doug Zaft. He has the same worst loss to number 6, Panero Johnson. So this is going to be a close match. 1 or 2 takedowns. I really think 1 takedown in this match, probably 3-2. Max Murin's path to victory, if he rides tough, he can be stingy on top sometimes. If he puts on a tough ride, that's his path to victory, I think. But if Shane Van Ness gets away quick, I like his chances to win. I'm picking Shane Van Ness 3 points for the Nittany Lions. Going into 157 pounds, we have Colby Seabritt versus Levi Haynes. Yep, I do think they pull Levi Haynes' red shirt. They wrestled him versus Michigan. That to me was they're pulling his red shirt. And they're probably going to need him to win this duel. because Colby Seabritt, he started this year off a little bit slow in my opinion, but he's starting to look pretty darn tough. And so they're going to need Levi Haynes to win this match to help them win the duel. I do like Levi Haynes here, but I think this could be a potentially higher scoring match. Colby Seabritt can let it fly. He can go after it, get some big throws. Levi Haynes can obviously put on the pace. He majored Garrett Model. So this could be a 10-7, 9-5, a little bit of a higher scoring type match. But I'm going to pick Levi Haynes here. Decision, 3 points for Penn State. And that takes us into 165 pounds. Patrick Kennedy versus Alex Facundo. Now, Alex Facundo just had a big win over a previous All-American in Cameron Amin. And while Patrick Kennedy lost to Dean Hamidi this last weekend, he looked pretty darn tough doing it. I'm really, really high on Dean Hamidi. I think if he was in a different weight class, he could be a national finalist. And so to see Patrick Kennedy get deep on Dean Hamidi's legs and keep the match close, only losing by a point, that impressed me quite a bit. I'm going to pick Patrick Kennedy to get the upset here over Alex Facundo. I think both guys get takedowns, but I think Patrick Kennedy gets 2 takedowns. It's going to be 2 takedowns to 1 takedown, 3 points for Patrick Kennedy and for the Iowa Hawkeyes. So at 174 pounds and at 184 pounds, the breakdown to me is pretty similar. At 174 pounds, you have Nelson Brands versus Carter Starachi, and at 184 pounds, you have Abe Assad versus Aaron Brooks. Carter and Aaron are both 2-time national champs, so I'm going to pick them to win both these matches. The question is, can they get bonus points? And in the case of Nelson Brands, I don't think Carter gets a bonus point here, simply because Nelson Brands doesn't give up many bonus points. He wrestles everyone pretty tough. I don't think Carter gets the bonus point here. At 184 pounds, I think Aaron could get a bonus point here if he cuts Abe Assad early. If Aaron Brooks gets a takedown and commits to the ride in the first period, I don't think he gets bonus. But if he cuts him in the first period, or even if Abe Assad gets a quick escape, I think Aaron Brooks is going to be thinking, I need to get bonus for my team here, and he's much more likely to do that. But I'm going to go ahead and be a little conservative. I'm going to say decision for Aaron Brooks, 3 points for Penn State. And this takes us into a national finals rematch at 197 pounds. And typically a national finals rematch would be the match of the duel. But both wrestlers have taken a couple losses on the year. And due to the style of these wrestlers, they're more defensive. They like when guys get in on their legs. It's not going to be a match with a whole bunch of action. Their national finals match was a 3-2 match. And so Jacob Warner, and I was pretty surprised to actually see this, Jacob Warner's best win on the year so far is to number 22, Silas Allred. Max Dean also has a couple losses. He was able to get a really quality win over Younger Bastida. But again, it's going to be low scoring. One exchange is going to win it. And again, if you leave a match to one exchange, it could go either way. I am going to pick Max Dean here. I think he wins in tiebreakers by ride time criteria. If I'm Jacob Warner, I'm not taking a single shot. If you remember to that national finals match, it was 1-1 in the third. Jacob Warner takes a shot, and Max Dean gets an easy go behind. So I don't expect many shots here. It's going to go to tiebreakers, but I'm picking Max Dean, 3 points for Penn State. And that takes us to 285 pounds. Number 3, Anthony Cassiope versus number 2, Greg Kurtlevitt. Greg got his first and a fairly dominant win over Tony Cassiope at the All-Star Classic. I do think the match is going to be much closer this time. I think Anthony Cassiope is going to be much more aggressive. I think he's going to try to commit harder to riding really, really tough on top. In the past, Greg has shown he can struggle on bottom versus Anthony Cassiope. So that's going to be a key detail in this match. If Anthony Cassiope commits hard to the ride and gets a ride time point, that could be big for him getting the win over Greg. In that All-Star Classic match, Anthony Cassiope didn't get a takedown yet. He got pretty deep on Greg's legs a couple of times. So I think this match is going to be much closer. In fact, I am going to pick the upset here. I'm picking Tony Cassiope to get the upset over Greg. I think he's going to be a lot more aggressive. I think he gets a takedown. He commits to the ride. 3 points for the Iowa Hawkeyes. And so that gives us a final score of 19-15 for Penn State, winning 6 out of the 10 matches. So obviously, if Iowa wants to win, they're going to have to pick up a match like Max Murin over Shane Van Ness, Jacob Warner over Max Dean. They're going to have to pick up a 5th match somewhere. At the same time, I picked 2 upsets. I picked Patrick Kennedy over Alex Facundo and Anthony Cassiope over Greg Kurtleviet. So they're not only going to have to get both those upsets, but they're going to have to get another win somewhere else. So Penn State could win by a whole bunch, or Iowa could keep it pretty close. And if they wrestle perfectly, they maybe could squeeze out a win here. Either way, it's going to be an awesome match. Make sure you tune in Friday night. I know I will be. That's what I got for you today, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you like, subscribe. Let's build a community around the sport that we love, and I'll see you in the next video.